Hello, my name's Vicky and I'm founder of Surrey Yoga Therapy. Today I want to talk to you about finding a neutral pelvis. And this is something that I work with a lot of clients to help them try and find. And quite oftentimes when I'm working with a client, one of the first things that we look at is their posture. And sometimes I find there are certain interesting alignments in the pelvis that can really have a bit of a knock-on effect, not only further up the chain into the alignment of the spine, but also the alignment of the hips can really have a big knock-on effect on the health of our knees and our general gait. So this is something that's quite important. Two kind of fairly common pelvic alignments that I see. One of the most common ones is called the anterior pelvic tilt, and it looks a little bit like this. So in an anterior pelvic tilt, what tends to happen is that the front of the pelvis is spilling forwards and the back of the pelvis is riding up. And oftentimes clients with this alignment in their hips will feel or report like a tightness, a constriction in the lower back. Oftentimes the hip flexors will be quite tight as well. And the glutes and the abdominals will often feel over lengthened and a little bit weak. And quite oftentimes I've noticed that often hamstring tendinopathies seem to be more common in people with this pelvic alignment. The other alignment that I see a little bit less commonly, but I still see, is the opposite, the posterior pelvic tilt. So basically this time now, the back of the pelvis is spilling down and the front of the pelvis is riding up. Typically clients with this particular posture have a flattened or a juice curve in their lower back, tighter hamstrings, and they often have quite tight and short but still weak abdominals. So to help clients find a more neutral pelvis, I get them to bring their hands into a diamond shape. The thumbs come to the belly button and then the index fingers are pointing down towards the pubic bone. And then just standing with the feet about hip width apart and the knees a little bit soft and micro bent. Just a few times rock the pelvis forwards and back. So just feeling for that, going to an anterior and a posterior pelvic tilt. And then eventually just making those movements a little bit smaller until the thumbs stack directly above the index fingers. And you know that when the thumbs stack over the index fingers, your pelvis is now roughly in neutral. You should feel there's a natural curve in your lower back and the abdominal should be relatively flat. So this particular pelvic alignment is something you want to find in all of your standing poses, whether it's a warrior pose or a triangle pose. Trying to find neutral pelvis will have a really good knock-on effect both up and down the length of your body. I hope this tip is helpful for you and I'll be back again with some more tips soon. This is Vicky from Surrey Yoga Therapy.